Close your eyes now, my dear, and let this be the moment you finally stop fighting the healing and simply let it happen. You don't need to rush your recovery tonight. You don't need to force anything to move faster than it's ready to. You only need to breathe, to soften, to trust the process. 12 gentle truths are waiting for you here. Each one a small doorway into calm, into patience, into the quiet certainty that better days are already on their way. There is nothing to prove, nothing to force, nothing you must fix before you're allowed to simply rest into healing. Just your breath, arriving and leaving, patient and unhurried, asking nothing more of you than presence right now. Nothing is required of you except your breath and your willingness to stay calm tonight. So let your shoulders drop, let your breath deepen, let your whole body settle into the truth that healing doesn't need to be rushed, and let us begin together, softly, the way real healing always begins. The storm that feels like it will never pass. There are seasons, my dear, when difficulty feels endless, when the storm seems certain to last forever without any sign of clearing. But storms, even the longest ones, have never once lasted forever, no matter how permanent they felt in the middle of them. Tonight, let's remember that together. What if this storm too is already quietly beginning to pass? Breathe in slowly, and as you exhale, whisper softly, "This storm is passing, even if I cannot see it yet." Feel how unfamiliar that sentence might sound at first, especially if the storm still feels loud and close around you. A woman once said she couldn't believe her hardest season would ever end until one ordinary morning she noticed it quietly already had. What shifted in her long before she consciously realized the storm had passed? This isn't about pretending difficulty away. It's about remembering that difficulty, by its very nature, is temporary, even when it doesn't feel that way at all. Storms exhaust themselves eventually, every single time. Even the ones that felt like they might never end, no matter how long they lasted. Tonight, we begin gently trusting that this storm, too, is following that same ancient, reliable pattern nature has always kept. And trusting that pattern often makes the waiting feel lighter, even before the storm has fully passed completely. Why calm is a choice your body can learn. Have you noticed how panic tends to spread quickly, while calm often needs to be chosen deliberately, again and again, until it becomes natural? This isn't weakness, my dear. It's simply how the nervous system works, defaulting to alarm unless calm is practiced consistently. Tonight, let's understand why choosing calm, even during healing, is a skill worth practicing gently. A real-world example makes this easier to feel than any explanation could offer. A man once said his recovery felt harder during the weeks he stayed anxious, and noticeably smoother during the weeks he practiced staying calm instead. He hadn't expected his own emotional state to have such a visible impact on how his healing actually unfolded. What changed in his body simply by choosing calm over panic, again and again. The pattern here is subtle, but remarkably consistent for nearly everyone who examines it honestly and carefully over time. Panic activates a stress response that diverts energy away from repair toward constant, exhausting vigilance instead of actual healing. Calm allows that same energy to redirect back toward healing, quietly, the way it was always meant to function. What you practice repeatedly, calm or panic, tends to become the body's default response over time, gently, without you even notice. Just for a moment, 3 small things happening in your body right now. Your breath slowing, your shoulders softening, your mind growing quieter than it was a minute ago. The quiet signal that healing is already working. Healing rarely announces itself loudly, my dear. It usually works quietly, invisibly, long before any obvious sign appears on the surface. Tonight, let's notice the quiet signals that healing might already be happening, even if you can't yet see the full result. Older traditions understood healing as something gradual, something trusted, rather than constantly checked and measured against impatient expectations. A grandmother once told her grandson that a wound heals from the inside out long before the skin ever shows it. Modern minds, so used to instant results, often resist this patience until they finally experience healing directly themselves. What quiet signal might your own body already be offering you if you pause long enough to notice it? People who learn to trust these quiet signals often describe feeling calmer throughout recovery, even without needing constant confirmation of progress. As if trusting the process itself became part of what allowed the healing to unfold more smoothly and completely, without added resistance. It isn't denial, it's patience, recognizing that invisible progress is still real progress, even when it can't yet be measured directly. And in that patience, something in you finally exhales, trusting what cannot yet be fully seen, gently, without needing proof. As we continue into this, there's a quiet reason healing often accelerates the moment you finally stop anxiously checking on it. What your body needs to hear right now. Your body is listening right now, my dear, in the middle of whatever healing it's currently working through, quietly, patiently. It doesn't need dramatic encouragement. It simply needs a few honest, gentle words spoken sincerely and consistently. Tonight, let's offer it exactly that. Place your hand gently over wherever you feel most in need of healing and whisper, "You are doing exactly what you need to do." Feel how tender that sentence feels, how different from the anxious checking and worrying you might usually offer instead. A woman once said the moment she started speaking gently to her healing body, her recovery felt noticeably less exhausting to endure. What might your own body be quietly waiting to hear from you tonight? This isn't magical thinking. It's nervous system regulation. Speaking calmly to the body helps lower the stress that can slow recovery considerably. Your body doesn't need perfection from you. It only needs patience, gentleness, and the trust that it already knows exactly what to do. Tonight, offer it exactly that, quietly, sincerely, without needing anything more elaborate than a few honest, kind words. And that gentleness, offered consistently, tends to support the healing more than anxious vigilance ever could manage on its own. The moment panic softens into patience, there is a specific moment, my dear, when anxious panic about healing finally softens into something quieter, something more like patient trust. Most people rush past this moment, checking, worrying, measuring progress against impossible timelines they never agreed to. Tonight, let's slow down enough to actually notice that moment arriving within you. Breathe in, and as you exhale, whisper, "I release panic, and I trust my healing is unfolding exactly as it should." Feel your shoulders drop slightly. Feel your jaw unclench. Feel something in you settle that had been anxiously bracing. A nurse once said, patients who learned to trust their healing timeline recovered with noticeably less distress than those who constantly worried. What changed in them the moment their panic finally softened into patience? Panic keeps the body in a heightened, exhausting state that actually competes with the resources healing requires to function fully and completely. Patience allows the body to redirect that same energy toward repair, quietly, without the added burden of constant alarm or worry. Once panic softens, healing tends to feel less like a battle and more like a process, gently, naturally unfolding. And that shift, once felt, tends to make the entire recovery feel more bearable. Day after day, gently, a forgotten truth hidden inside waiting. Old traditions understood waiting differently than most modern minds do, my dear. Not as wasted time, but as sacred, necessary preparation. They believed healing, like a seed, required unseen time beneath the surface before anything visible could finally emerge. Somewhere along the way, this understanding faded, replaced by impatience, by constant checking, by urgency disguised as progress. An elderly woman once said her grandmother taught her that healing takes exactly as long as it takes. No more, no less, regardless of how much we wish otherwise. She still repeats this to herself, decades later, whenever she feels the old urge to rush her own recovery. What is it about accepting this timeline that brings such immediate, noticeable relief? The pattern many notice is emotional rather than purely philosophical in nature, though both certainly play a role in how it lands. Impatience keeps the nervous system anxiously bracing against a timeline it cannot actually control or accelerate, no matter how hard it tries. Acceptance, offered instead, allows the nervous system to finally rest, trusting the waiting itself as part of the healing process. That small shift seems to quietly protect your peace no matter how long the healing takes to fully unfold. Just for a moment, imagine your healing unfolding exactly as it needs to, patiently, without needing to be rushed. Notice how calm even the simple thought of that patience feels inside you right now. Why better days are already quietly approaching. Better days rarely announce themselves in advance, my dear. They simply arrive quietly, the way morning arrives after even the longest night. Tonight, let's trust that those better days are already, quietly, making their way toward you, even if you cannot see them yet. A man once said he couldn't imagine feeling better during his hardest week, yet just a month later he found himself laughing again without even trying. He hadn't expected relief to arrive so quietly, so gradually, so entirely without announcement or warning. What might already be quietly shifting in your own life, even before you can consciously notice it happening. The mechanism here is simple, though rarely visible while you're still in the middle of difficulty and struggle itself. Healing accumulates gradually, invisibly, until one day the difference finally becomes noticeable enough to recognize consciously all at once. Recognizing this shifts how you wait, trusting the accumulation even when you cannot yet measure it directly or clearly. And once you begin trusting it, better days tend to feel closer, quietly, one patient day at a time, gently. The gentle practice of focusing on healing alone. There is a gentle practice, my dear, of focusing only on healing itself, setting aside everything else that isn't currently yours to carry. Most people scatter their energy across worry, comparison, and impatience, leaving less available for the healing that actually needs it. Tonight, let's practice narrowing that focus together, gently, just for these few breaths. Whisper softly. Right now, my only job is to heal, and everything else can wait. Feel how much lighter that sentence feels compared to trying to manage everything else simultaneously while also recovering. A retired teacher once said the season she finally allowed herself to focus only on healing was the season her recovery accelerated the most. What might you release tonight, simply to make more room for your own healing to happen? This practice doesn't require ignoring your responsibilities forever. It only requires temporary, gentle permission to prioritize healing above everything else, for now, just for tonight. Focusing this way conserves energy that scattered attention would otherwise quietly drain away from the recovery process itself. Once healing becomes the priority, even briefly, recovery tends to feel less overwhelming, less like fighting on every front at once, and that focused energy, once gathered, tends to support healing more effectively than divided attention ever could manage alone. And your main range is for signed as of writing Safayim Tiffer ends of following ever pray out with that into for bisa dilidi and son ever significate to the God rooted. What changes when you stop fighting the process? There is a moment, my dear, when fighting your own healing process finally becomes more exhausting than simply trusting it and letting it unfold. Most people resist that moment, afraid that surrendering means giving up on getting better entirely. But surrendering tonight means something gentler than that, something more like finally trusting the body's own wisdom. Whisper softly, I release the fight and I trust my body's healing process completely. Feel your chest loosen, feel your breath deepen, feel something old finally begin to soften and settle. A man once said the moment he stopped fighting his own recovery timeline, his healing began to feel noticeably smoother and less exhausting. What had he been unknowingly blocking simply by continuing to fight a process that was already working? Fighting the process keeps you exhausted, resisting a timeline that was never yours to control in the first place, no matter how hard you try. Trusting the process frees that same energy for actual recovery, quietly, the way it was always meant to be used and directed. Once the fighting stops, healing doesn't slow down, it often accelerates, finally unburdened by constant resistance and struggle. And in that release, better days finally have room to arrive more gently than they otherwise might have arrived as you are further than you think. Underneath every worry about how far you still have to go, my dear, there is often a quieter voice that knows exactly how far you've already come. That voice doesn't shout, doesn't demand proof. It simply, steadily reminds you of progress worry sometimes makes you forget. Tonight, let's listen past the worry, toward whatever has been patiently waiting underneath it. Breathe in, and as you exhale, whisper, I am further along than my worry lets me believe. Feel how different that sentence lands compared to the usual anxious measuring against how far you still feel you must go. A young woman once said that the moment she heard this quieter voice, her whole relationship with her own recovery softened considerably. What was that quieter voice trying to remind her of the entire time she was worrying? The worried mind often speaks first because it's louder, more urgent, demanding constant reassurance that things are truly, actually improving somehow. But underneath it, patiently, is usually a steadier voice, one that already knows how much progress has quietly, invisibly been made so far. Tonight, instead of measuring against fear, simply pause and let that quieter voice speak first, gently, before anything else does. That quieter voice, once heard, tends to bring a peace worry alone could never quite offer. No matter how much it tried, why calm speeds what struggle only slows. The calmer you become, my dear, the more your body's own resources can actually focus on the healing they were always meant to do. Struggle diverts those same resources elsewhere, toward vigilance, toward bracing, toward managing constant alarm instead of repair. Tonight, let's notice how deeply connected these two things truly are. A retired nurse once said the patients who learned to stay calm throughout treatment often recovered more smoothly than those who remained anxious throughout. She hadn't expected something as simple as emotional calm to have such a visible impact on physical healing and recovery time. What might shift in your own healing tonight simply by choosing calm over struggle, gently, again and again? This isn't magic, it's physiology. Calm allows the body's natural repair systems to function without the constant interference of stress hormones flooding the system. A struggling body often feels like it's fighting on two fronts, the original difficulty and the added stress of resisting it entirely. A calm body tends to feel more spacious, more able to direct its full resources toward actual healing and repair. Tonight, as you choose calm, notice how much more room your healing may suddenly have to unfold naturally, the soft arrival of the better days ahead. There is a soft threshold, my dear, between the difficult days you've known and the better days quietly waiting just beyond them. You are standing at that threshold right now, closer than you may realize, closer with every calm breath you've allowed yourself tonight. Let's walk through it together, slowly, the way one enters a quiet room without disturbing anything inside. Whisper one final time. I stay calm, I focus on healing, and better days are already on their way to me. Let those words become softer with each repetition, until they feel less like hope and more like simply trusting what's already unfolding. A woman once said that by the 4th repetition, she could no longer tell where the worry had gone, only that calm had quietly taken its place. That is exactly where you are welcome to arrive tonight. 2. This threshold doesn't require you to do anything else, my dear. Only to keep breathing, keep staying calm, keep trusting the healing already quietly underway. Whatever peace has settled in tonight will continue quietly with you long after these words have gone quiet. You don't need to hold on to any of this consciously. Your body already knows exactly what to do with it. Simply rest now and let the better days you've been waiting for finally, quietly arrive. There is nothing left for you to fight tonight, my dear. Only breath, only calm, only the quiet healing that has been happening this entire time. You've spoken gently to your worry, your impatience, your fear, and each one has softened just a little tonight. That softening doesn't end the moment this meditation does. It continues quietly through the night and into the better days ahead. Your body has never once stopped trying to heal you, my dear, in the same patient way it never has, without needing convincing. You don't have to rush tonight's rest. You don't have to force it. You only have to allow it gently. Let your breathing grow slower now. Let your thoughts grow fewer and further apart, like a storm finally settling into quiet, steady rain. If a worried thought drifts through, simply let it pass, the way a cloud passes without needing your permission or your attention. Whatever you've been fighting is welcome to soften a little further with every breath you take from here forward tonight. Whatever felt like it needed to be forced has already been released, gently, and it doesn't need to be pushed any further right now. You are safe here, in this quiet calm, in this soft healing, in this moment that asks nothing further of you. Notice how much lighter you feel already, how much less you need to worry than you did before this meditation began. How much easier it feels simply to breathe. Let healing continue now, unhurried, the way it always has, wrapping around you like something warm and steadily working, quietly, in its own time. And when better days finally arrive, however they arrive, know that they were always on their way, quietly, patiently, the entire time you were learning to stay calm and trust. Whatever you carried into tonight, you don't have to carry the same way tomorrow. Something has already shifted here, even if only slightly, even if only for tonight. Rest now gently, my dear. You are healing. You are calm. Better days are already quietly coming, and this quiet trust will still be here, waiting for you for as long as you need it.